Good morning, everyone around the world. It is time for the three-digit World Cup semi-finals in the winners bracket once again between South Korea and Brazil. We're starting off the weekend now with both winners semi-finals matches here in the three-digit World Cup. We've already seen the results of United States versus Philippines. United States winning that matchup 7-3. The winner of this match facing off against them in the finals. I am Dio. I am going to be streaming and casting this match, and hopefully I'll have somebody joining me at some point, but for now, you just get to hear my wonderful morning voice as I'm still waking up, having just gotten out of bed 15 minutes ago. Good morning, resoa.
Good morning, I'm here. Hello. Right.
Rise and shine, it's time to cast.
Yeah, I just finished my match, so I'm ready.
Alright, well, we got a good match here between South Korea and Brazil. South Korea, the number 1 seed out of qualifiers. Brazil, the 4th seed. Brazil taking down Germany last weekend. South Korea not really having too much trouble throughout any of their matches so far.
Yeah, seemed very dominant against both Ukraine and Italy, so the expectations are pretty high for them, honestly, to just replicate that performance throughout this match as well. But Brazil definitely a huge step up in terms of team quality overall compared to their previous opponents, and also the star rating of the pool ramped up really hard. Also became a little bit more generic, so maybe that sort of favors Brazil a little bit more, which is typically a little bit better on the mechanics side.
Yeah, we were talking about this on Full Circle, and I think Brazil is going to be strongest through the No Mod 2, the Hard Rock pool, and the DT pool. So hopefully we'll be able to see them pick into some of that, because that's where they've found a lot of success previously. They were able to win both Hard Rock picks against the German team last weekend. They had a really good time playing the No Mod Speed and DT Speed last weekend against Germany as well. And I feel like if they can lean into those strengths and pick well in this match, they might have a chance at upsetting here in the semifinals.
Yeah, definitely. They've had some pretty solid scores throughout with, as you said, on the speed maps and also the stamina maps, and also looking at the pool itself, the tapping requirement on this pool is pretty high. A lot of the tapping maps are a little bit more on the higher BPM side, both number 2 being 212 BPM, not the most common BPM in 7.4 stars even. There's also the DT3, which is 285 BPM. There's Jester, which is also kind of speedy, so... And also Amphitron, a really, really hard DT2 as well, with a lot of flow aim, a lot of stamina involved. So, and since all of the Brazil players are pretty decent at tapping, especially like Nissan, Zups, also I think Korean Maluko is also there. There's also I think Niash also as well, also pretty good at tapping, so he's definitely someone to look out for on those tapping maps as well. And South Korea, I mean, they are still seed 1, they are still incredibly dominant throughout the tournament so far, also last year as well, but they sort of struggled a little bit later on the mechanics maps, so, and since all of these maps are pretty high BPM, it's like gonna be a little bit more challenging for them to win against this Brazil side.
Yeah, that said, I think there's still quite a lot of options for South Korea as a team. They still have most of the no-mod pool, the hidden pool, the free-mod pool as maps where they should be pretty well advantaged. And even on the Hard Rock pool, stuff like Hard Rock, honestly, the full Hard Rock pool is still, I think, a bit of a toss-up in this matchup for both of these teams. I don't think Brazil is entirely advantaged on those sort of maps. You have, you know, basic aim consistency, tech, and low precision. So none of those are really completely favored toward Brazil. Those are all skill sets that are very good for South Korea. So despite that being in the Hard Rock pool, I still don't necessarily just give Brazil the win on those maps. I think Brazil is the team that's going to have the most trouble in this match, finding consistent points. You already see South Korea banning out the No Mod 2, 12 BPM stream stamina and low aim in that map. Brazil, of course, banning out the low AR hidden reading map. They picked low AR reading twice into Germany last week and lost it both times. I think they've learned their lesson now.
Yeah, definitely.
They're banning it here. I like it. Good job.
Yeah. Obviously maybe a little bit unlucky judging by their scores. Maybe I'll slide on the performance on the low AR maps, but it is absolutely understandable to ban out any sort of gimmicky low AR map against this South Korea side. I mean, just one name with Forum, and then they also have Alamir Kokoro, and also I guess Avikristima also can sort of play, I guess, the Nomad map at least. Fragrance of Page, incredible gimmick player as well, so it's just completely understandable that every single team probably in this entire tournament wants to look out for those low AR picks from South Korea. And we see DT3 being the next ban, a 285 BPM, 10.2 speed map. Understandable ban, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you going to say, right? Like, it's the super high BPM DT map. They have Nissan on the side of Brazil, who last week honestly looked really good. In the first half of the match, all 3 picks that were won by Brazil were because Nissan full comboed. So 3 for 3 on full combos for the map that they won in the first half, and then in the back half, it was the Zubs Defon's Korean Maluko show where 3 of them were really popping off on stuff like the Hard Rocks and Free Mods later on into the match. But early on, it was Nissan who was carrying the team, and I think South Korea putting some respect on the fact that Brazil has those older players who can still do really, really well on this skill set.
Yeah, absolutely. They have so much experience, both Mistia, Nissan, there's Korean Maluku, there's Subs, all of these players very popular and old, or sort of old tournament players who've been in this situation many times probably, but even then, winner semifinals and Brazil is there. It hasn't happened in a long time in any World Cup ever, probably. I think the last time was 3WC like 3 years ago with Nissan and Mistia both in the same team.
Yeah, we were talking about this when we first did the prediction stream for the 3WC at the very start of the tournament before qualifiers even happened. And basically everyone there was like, yeah, if this were 3 or 4 years ago, you throw this Brazil roster at any other team and they'd probably win. Like, this would just be a winning roster 3 or 4 years ago. And the fact that it is not now is just a testament to how much better the player base has gotten overall. We do see another low AR ban for Brazil as well, banning out that Nomad 5. No surprises there. And so now we should be ready to go with first pick for South Korea. I am expecting either the Fremod 3 or honestly anything in the hidden pool I think is going to be really good for South Korea. I think they're probably going to stray away from stuff like the Fremod 2 for now, because I think Brazil has players who can do really well on that sort of density aim skill set. But I think stuff like the Nomad 3, stuff like the Nomad 4, if they want to pick into it, based on the map pool feedback channel, I don't think that map's going to be too popular this week. But I do still think that's a good pick for South Korea, and they are going to pick into it. It is that Nomad 4 first pick for South Korea. This map just pure slider tech. Not a lot else going on here, and not a lot else to talk about with this one. It is, I believe, some Sharu and Fracture Hawkins tech. Fracture Hawkins not somebody you think about a ton when you think just like pure slider tech a la Sharu or Neil Perry or other mappers in that style, but somebody who has been in that genre for quite some time and definitely knows their way around how to map this style. This map's really, really difficult. This is a relatively older tournament pick, but something that is still really, really tricky for lots of tournament players in spite of that. And looks like resoa is having some internet issues, so we'll get him back soon TM, hopefully. I don't think any surprises with these rosters so far. Amamiya Kokoro, worst HR player, and Alec Grisimo in for South Korea. Very, very good tech players, all three of them. Zubs Defons Nyash in for Brazil. I think, again, not too surprising here. Korea Maluka could maybe sub in for Nyash, but I don't think you're putting in Mistia or Nissan on this map. So, good rosters for both teams. We should be just about ready to get into our first map of the match, second match of the weekend, and last winners semifinals match of the weekend. Winner of this one moves on to face United States in the winners finals. Loser drops down into the losers bracket in top 6 to compete with 3 other teams for that last spot in the grand finals. Oh, and looks like we're going to get a timeout for Brazil. We need their last member. Looks like Nyash is subbing out for, I would have to guess, Korean Maluko. And there he is. All right, and now we can finally get into the first map of the match. Zubs Defons Korean Maluko. This is a 3-man squad that you're probably going to be seeing a lot of from Brazil. Same goes for South Korea, though. Worst HR player, Amamiya Kokoro, Alec Grisimo, all 3 all-rounders for both teams in for this map. But I think the tech specialty for the South Korean all-rounder is definitely evident in the roster lineup, especially with worst HR player Amamiya Kokoro. Those two extremely good tech players, even in the OS World Cup. And welcome back, resoa. You're just in time for Nomad 4. Oh, he is internet momenting. All right. Anyway. Nobody breaking so far, actually. Amamiya Kokoro, the first to drop for either team. Brazil still holding this 3-way full combo. Is going to start to pull out ahead, but there goes Zubs and Defons at that moment. Worst HR player is going to trade it. It's Korean Maluko and Alec Grisimo with the 2 full combos left in the lobby. Better accuracy on Korean Maluko, but more misses for Zubs, Defons, and Amamiya Kokoro. So a little bit of extra combo to South Korea now as there goes Alec Grisimo now. Full combos all gone for South Korea. It's just Korean Maluko with the only full combo left in the lobby now. If you're going to put your faith in one member of Brazil, hopefully it can be him, but it can't as he finds the drop as well. And now it's all up to supporting combo for each team. The accuracy going to start to matter much more, and you're looking at 97 and 96 for worst HR player and Amamiya Kokoro right now. The best ack on Brazil, that 95 from Korean Maluko and 95 from Defons. That accuracy for South Korea going to start to help them pull out ahead in this map, especially as we see repeated breaks for Defons and Korean Maluko through the halfway mark. There's a full team reset for Brazil, and with better combo on worst HR player Amamiya Kokoro, the overall consistency looking better for South Korea on this one. Another break will come through for Amamiya Kokoro, but it's just not going to matter. Take a look at worst HR player down there in the bottom left. He is having a grand old time right now. 700 combo, unfazed by what this map is throwing at him. I think just one break early on in the map. Looking at a reverse choke right now for worst HR player. There's another slider break near the end of the map, but the job is done. 500k plus, better than the next best score by 200,000 points. And the next best score on his team as well from Amamiya Kokoro. So not much to say about this one. South Korea just the better team when it comes to Nomad Tech, and I don't think anyone is going to be surprised by that result. Solid effort from Brazil. You have Korean Maluko on the 340k. You have Defons and Zubs close to that 300k mark, but 300k is enough to match Allegrisimo and Amamiya Kokoro. Maybe you have a pop-off score on somebody, and it starts to get better for Brazil. But 550k from worst HR player, you're just not matching that on this map, and Brazil going to lose to South Korea. But that is South Korea's first pick. So 1-0 start for South Korea is the expected start for the match here, and hopefully Brazil can fire back with a pick of their own and keep us evened up for a close matchup. As we talked about beforehand, and as the bans indicate from South Korea, I think Brazil probably looking to pick into that speed. If I had to guess, going into something like that DT2 Amphitryon, that is the most quote-unquote default speed map picked in the pool. If you're going to pick speed, that is the map that is easiest to abuse it on, left in the pool. And I feel like against a higher seeded team, you don't want to pull any punches. You don't want to leave picks for later on in the match. You want to get out your picks and get your points on the board as early as possible with your strongest maps. So I feel like just picking into that DT2 is going to be very good for Brazil. Nissan is going to be very strong on that map. It is AR8, CS5, DT, Stream, Stamina, and Flow Aim. So hopefully looking at a pretty solid pick for Brazil there. If they don't go with the DT2, I'm expecting something like the DT4 or the Hard Rock 1.
Yeah, there is DT2.
There we go.
Yeah, definitely a pretty good pick. Very short map, 115. CS4 AR 9.67, 233 BPM. Pretty much just kind of normal 2, just half as long and higher BPM, less spacing, but basically kind of similar-ish. A lot of pretty flow aimy for DT2. Like, it's not just like stack, dev stream, dash 45 kind of map, but more spacey, a little bit more flow aim. You kind of have to like use your right hand as well while tapping the map.
One thing to note about this map, if you are holding a full combo, the ending is going to be by far the hardest part. The spacing on the streams in the ending gets notably higher than at any other point during the map. So players are going to be really hard pressed to hold on to as much combo as they can during the ending of this one.
Yeah, like even if you can tap this map decently, it's like still not a confident FC all of the time if you're not able to like aim the streams at the end as well, especially with the nerfs. So this, I think in terms of raw stamina, I think this isn't really much harder than the last round free, not the qualifiers DT2, but in terms of like, since the streams are like a lot more spaced, it's just a lot more like mechanically intense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be getting Korean Maluko Zubs, it looks like, to join Nissan for this map. I think that's a good roster for Brazil. We haven't seen too much of Mistia, honestly, from Brazil in this tournament so far. So I'm not expecting to see Mistia in on a lot of the picks here. And I think for the vast majority of picks, you're probably seeing some three-man combination of Nissan, Korean Maluko, Zubs, and Defons for Brazil. And that's going to be the route they take for this one as well. Nissan, Korean Maluko, Zubs in for Brazil on this one. Nissan, of course, DAS, DWQ, DF in the top slot there for Brazil. If you don't hear us refer to him by the mashup of letters that is his current username, that's because it's terrible to cast.
Yeah.
So Nissan is the name there. Early miss for Zubs on the side of Brazil. Everybody holding on full combos for both squads. On the side of South Korea, Doomsday Fanboy, worst HR player, Amamiya Kokoro, looking to take a break point.
Yeah. Korea Maluko with the miss and Ag kind of even for all players, but that FC from both Forum and Amamiya Kokoro are still pretty high, pretty important. As the spacing gets a little bit more intense now here in this section. But every player... Oh, Amamiya Kokoro on that overlapping note, missing there. Really unfortunate miss, and it's slowly gonna come back to Brazil, I think?
Yeah, better combo for Brazil now, just barely. Zubs is not too far off an FC, less than 50 combo from that FC, but there goes Zubs. It's traded by worst HR player immediately. So combo lead still on the side of Brazil with that extra combo from Korean Maluko. Nissan, as long as he holds, has the potential to bring this over, but it's not going to be enough. No, there goes Doomsday Fanboy as well. Everybody breaking on both teams besides Korean Maluko. The only one to hold there at the ending. He's going to find the break at the very end of the map, but it's not going to matter. 55k the win for Brazil, but it's enough. 900k from Nissan and 720k from Korean Maluko, the two pop-off scores to bring them that win over the 880k and 670k from Doomsday Fanboy and Worst HR Player. Really well done from those two in particular to hold on to that combo as long as possible.
Yeah, that was incredibly important. So, very important point there for Brazil. They will surely be happy about that one. 1-1 now, and let's see what South Korea is going to pick next. I assume it's probably going to be something like a hidden map, possibly. We can also see maybe a free mod map, maybe like a free mod 1, maybe a no mod 3 as well. I think would be a really, really good pick for them.
Yeah, no disagreements there. Free mod 3 maybe as well. That's the only low AR map left in the pool after Brazil double banned the no mod 5 hidden 3. So maybe we see them pick into that. That said, Brazil can put some Hard Rock players on that free mod 3 if they want to. And it is going to be that free mod 1 instead. I think no surprises, right? You're looking at no mod 3, you're looking at the hiddens, and you're looking at this free mod 1 as kind of power picks for South Korea to start out the match.
Definitely free mod 1 one of the harder maps in this pool, in my opinion, and the team on this one is like incredible. They're CS3, so like anyone who goes hard rock isn't like too much at a disadvantage. And on the hidden, it's also really, really difficult. And even on the Nomad, that's probably the most important pick. The most important player there, that Nomad player has to get a really high score in this in order for their team to win. And the team on this one for South Korea, really good. You have Allegrisimo maybe on the Nomad. You can go worst hard rock player on either hidden or hard rock. You have Amamiya Kukuru, who can also go both hard rock or hidden. It just solely depends on their form right now.
Yeah, I feel like the modded players actually are... I agree the no-mod player is important on this map, but I feel like the modded players are less important on this than on something like the free mod 3, for example, because it is that CS3, right? So Hard Rock is not going to make this as difficult as it makes something like the free mod 3 or even like one of the Hard Rock picks, for example, right? So I feel like the modded players have somewhat of an easier time, and you're almost expecting less out of the no-mod player because there's just not quite as much added difficulty because of the mods on this map. For example, hidden on this map is hard, but compare it to hidden on Bump, the AR9 234 BPM awkward aim pick, right? Like, that pick, hidden makes that pick way harder.
Yeah.
It makes this pick harder, but I don't think quite as much as some of the other free mods. So I think you have a little bit of leeway with who you want to choose for your mod because it is CS3, because it is AR 9.6. There's not quite as much added difficulty, but still you're looking towards that no mod player for consistency, and you're looking toward mod comfort for the players who are taking it, because 160 BPM aim control alt still very difficult on hidden or hard rock. It's going to be hidden for Amamiya Kokoro, hard rock for worst HR player, a no mod for Allegrisimo as you called out, no mod for Korean Maluko actually this time around, hidden for Zubs, hard rock for Defons. This is a pretty standard free mod setup for Brazil as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Defons, very, very popular aim control hard rock player. Not really that active in tournaments, but whenever you see this guy play, he's just still so incredible good. But as we say that, all of Brazil missing right on the beginning here, worst hard rock player and Amamiya Kokoro, the only players with an FC, with an SS even.
And this is the match going to expectation so far, right? We talked about this before the match started, but all of these early breaks for Brazil on both the no mod 4 and the free mod 1 here, kind of confirming what we were talking about at the start, that these gimmick picks for South Korea are just so SK favored. Worst HR player, Amamiya Kokoro in particular, are just so insane at these sorts of picks that there's not a lot that Brazil can do to try to take break points on these, whereas you saw on the DT2, it was pretty close. 55k on a DT pick is nothing. So this is going to be a tough fought match from Brazil, and I think as the pool starts to narrow down, maybe we can see breakpoints for Brazil, but I think it's more likely, especially with how that first pick went, for us to see breakpoints from South Korea early on into this match. So Brazil really going to have to nut up here as the match gets underway and these second picks come through for them to be able to take this. Again, only a break for Allegrisimo so far from South Korea. We're 3/4 of the way in. That's still a double FC from Amemiya Kokoro and Worst HR player. And they show no signs of slowing down on that score lead. It's already over 700k.
Yeah, those two scores. I mean, now Amemiya Kokoro missing, and worst auto player 99.7% FC with Hard Rock on this map. I mean, what are you gonna do against that one? I mean, the Fonts holding through that entire PI there, kind of just struggling at the beginning in the first half of the map, and seeing the second half, but that's just not enough against a Korean team that's just this dominant on something technical, on something gimmicky. That 300 FC from Forum with Hard Rock, one slider break, 840k from Amemiya Kokoro with Hidden. Like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is the difference between a team that is both #1 seed and specializes in gimmick versus the team that is still the #4 seed out of qualifiers, top 4 in the tournament, but just not specializing in the gimmick. Like, this is the kind of gap that produces, which is kind of insane. You don't normally expect this big of a gap between your #1 and #4 seed, but when you include the team specialties, I think it starts to make sense. And Brazil just unfortunately getting a specialty gap there by South Korea, as their players are not just some of the best gimmick players in this tournament, but some of the best gimmick players in the world, especially when you're looking at worst HR players.
And Brazil definitely has to look out now to get another solid pick in there, because the gimmicky maps from Korea have been a lot more confident, a lot more a larger score gap between both of the teams, while the DT2 was a little bit closer. So they're a little bit under pressure here, because they know that maybe one of their mechanic maps might just not work out, and they kind of have to like pick very, very precisely and thought out here.
And I think even if they pick very well, there's still chances for Brazil to lose these picks, and I think they shouldn't let that deter them from picking into similar things, into similar mod pools, right? Like, Brazil is just not picking these hiddens. Brazil is just not picking that No Mod 3. They're probably not picking into something like the 3 Mod 3 either. I think the one map, or maybe 2 maps outside the Hard Rock DT pools that they want to pick into would be the 3 Mod 2, the No Mod 1. 3 Mod 2 because they have a player like Nissan who can go that hidden, and then they can overmod Hard Rock with players like Defon and Maluko, or maybe Zubs can take that hidden. But it is going to be that DT4, and I think this is stock standard for Brazil. You're going with more DT, you're going with the higher BPM stuff. This is extremely standard against South Korea in the OS World Cup and here in the 3-digit World Cup as well. This map, though, I think a lot more of a toss-up pick than DT2. A, it's easier than DT2, just straight up. And B, it's a tech map with a lot of slider finger control in DT. Yes, it's AR 10.3. Yes, it's 260 BPM, but this is still something overall as a map that the players on South Korea are going to be more comfortable with.
Yeah, this is probably the most comfortable map in terms of tapping for the Korean side here. I don't think a lot of the players on that side are going to be really tapping gapped. It's more so just that the 10.3 and the overall strain that this map has might just favor Brazil a lot more. I guess not a lot more, but a little bit more, which is why they are picking this one. They have like so many players from their roster who can potentially play this. You can even see someone like the Fonts going into this, you can see Niash going into this, you can see Subs, Korean Maluko. Even Nissan could absolutely play this map. So they just have a lot of players to potentially go in or go out for.
That said, I think Brazil's roster on this is going to be pretty solid as well. You have Korean Maluko, who's a very good DT high AR finger control player. You have Niash in for this map, who we don't see a lot of from Brazil, but a lot of these picks that Niash goes in for are picks that, you know, you're going in over Defont, over Nissan or Missia for. So the strength there not to be underestimated from Nyash. And Zub's going in for Brazil as well. Zub's kind of flies under the radar as a tapping player, but when it comes to stuff like this, when you don't need that, super high BPM tapping stamina or high BPM burst speed, Zub's really, really strong on this sort of map.
Yeah.
And can read that high approach rate as well, despite, going in for some of those hiddens on free mod earlier in the match. So good roster from Brazil. That said, Doomsday Fanboy, worst HR player, Amamiya Kokoro, a scary lineup in any 3v3 tournament.
Absolutely. And Subs, as you said, kind of flying under the radar, mainly because, this is only DT only. He kind of only plays hidden double time in terms of his solo scores. And, well, his stamina is really good, especially at a certain BPM range, it's just not as dominant anymore. But this map, finger control-y, 10.3 reading-ish, a lot of tacky sort of patterns. This is absolutely Sub's comfort zone. And as we see so far though, Subs and Doomsday Fanboy are the only players who have broken so far.
Not too much to talk about with this one so far. Everybody holding really well during that first slider section. Now the burst coming through. A little bit of finger control on the doubles, and there goes Amamiya Kokoro shaking off one of those patterns. Amamiya Kokoro shakes. Always something to behold. Usually he can combo through them, but not the case on this one. And again, this is actually one of the easiest maps in the pool. We saw in the match between United States and Philippines, this map get nearly 6-way FC'd. It was very, very close. I think like 5 S ranks in that match. So this is one where you're really looking for FCs from as many players as possible. And right now, Brazil winning out in that department with the 2-way full combo on Nyash and Karina Maluko, and better combo for Zubs than for Doomsday Fanboy. So as long as they can hold one of these FCs for Brazil, and you keep that extra little bit of combo for Zubs over Doomsday Fanboy, you're probably in the clear on the side of Brazil, but still a third of the map left. And there goes Doomsday Fanboy, actually. Big break for South Korea. Oh, never mind, that's Bancho. Don't let that fool you like it fooled me, because it's still close between these two teams. But Brazil pulling out ahead further and further as we speak. Now I think that's probably a real miss for Doomsday Fanboy. We'll see.
But Subs trades it. But the combo advantage is definitely a little bit higher now for the Brazil side now. 2 full combos against 1 FC and a half from Amamiya Kokoro. And I do think this is kind of over as long as Brazil doesn't die now.
Yeah, that
really solid pick there. Really solid point there. Nyash and Karina Maluko with those 97% FCs. Really solid. Really solid team score.
Yeah, very good for Brazil. 2-way FC from Nyash and Karina Maluko, as we said. Zubs might bottom score the lobby by 30k, but that just doesn't matter. The miss from Amamiya Kokoro pretty much entirely determining that map, and still higher scores for both Nyash and Karina Maluko over worst HR player. And this is why we keep talking about these DT picks for Brazil, these high AR picks for Brazil, and the DT1, the DT4, the Hard Rock pool when those run out as well, because this is the kind of thing that they can do really well on versus the South Korea roster. It's just not the specialty for the South Koreans, and Brazil showing off theirs as they get 2 points on the board against the first seed in the tournament.
Yeah, so far this is the best team against South Korea. No other team has gotten more than 1 point against them, and this one very comfortable for Brazil, kind of. A 400k score gap is a little bit more larger, especially if you have a team as dominant as South Korea. So this is definitely a lot closer than the previous matches from South Korea.
Yeah, solid stuff from Brazil so far. We're going to see if they can keep that momentum rolling on their next pick. For now, it's going to be the pick for South Korea. Again, looking at the No Mod 3, looking at the Hidden 1, Hidden 2, looking at the Free Mod 3 for these next picks for South Korea. And with 4 really solid maps, I don't really see them picking into much else in this pool. You don't need to pick the Free Mod 2. And give Brazil a little bit of that comfort with a player like Nissan, and then potentially overmodding the Hard Rock on a map where I think Hard Rock might make it easier for a lot of players. Instead, they're going to go with that No Mod 3 Shadow Castle, This map has seen its fair share of tournament play. I think the last major tournament it was in the Roundtable Qualifier tournament in Hidden. This time around in the Nomad pool in 3-digit World Cup. Shadow Castle, all about the overlapping, just funky streams, accelerating, decelerating, hard corners, changes in stream curvature and shape all over the place. You name the type of stream, this has it. I think basically the one major thing this doesn't do is cut streams, but it doesn't really need to because all of the other stream patterns in the map are still so ridiculously tricky that cut streams would just be overkill on top of everything else going on in this map.
Absolutely. I mean, this map definitely mapped for a kind of hidden pool, but this map on Nomad is just as fun and also just as hard. I've played both. I played this map with both Hidden and Nomad, and I mean the difficulty doesn't really get a lot easier on Nomad than Hidden. So this map is definitely probably one of the harder maps in this pool as well. And you have those aim control demons in Forum, obviously Allegrisimo, Amamio Kokoro, the main free roster kind of next to Doomsday Fanboy. And we do see subs, we do see the fonts, and I think also it just seems like, obviously, for South Korea picking all of these maps that are not there for Nissan. Nissan hasn't really been in any map other than DT2, and he's obviously one of the strongest Brazil players there has ever been. And kind of making sense that they pick something that is not Nissan favorite at all.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for, putting Nissan in is Nissan, despite remaining active as a tournament map pooler and test player, really at this point at the top level, most of his strengths lie in his specialty of old, right? You're looking at the denser hidden maps in pre-mod, and you're looking at DT picks for the most part, but relatively dense DT picks. Nissan never really a player that was great at the higher AR picks as well. So I think the biggest thing here is you're going to be relying on these three players for Brazil so much in this match, as Maluko's Zubs and Fawns a little bit more well-rounded at this point in time than Nissan, despite the history of Nissan as a player throughout Brazil's World Cups in the past few years. And unfortunately, Zubs, Defons, Maluko all finding early breaks here. It is an early break match for Allegrisimo, but worst HR player, Amamiya Kokoro, again, two of the best gimmick players in the world. You're looking at these two to just kind of pop off on this map and not leave any room for error on the side of Brazil. And unfortunately, I feel like they may have already passed that margin of acceptable error on the side of Brazil as we see more misses come through for Zubs and Defons.
Yeah, only Korea Maluko having that 400 combo and is only matching Allegrisimo, and never mind he breaks. And Amiro Kokoro also finding a break, but it doesn't really matter because it's already 330k and the map is halfway done. Forum still has an FC. This map is really hard to combo comfortably. So a larger score gap like this is just absolutely detrimental for Brazil and South Korea. And I mean, you just can't really build up anything higher than 400 combo.
All right, it's the worst HR player show. Everybody else broke in the entire lobby. Let's pay attention. 1x100 on the full combo. Still going strong 2/3 of the way through. We saw Kama play this yesterday for the United States. Was holding double S up to about 3/4 or 2/3 of the way into the map. It's 1x100 this time around for worst HR player. We'll see if he can beat out the score that Kama laid out for the United States yesterday, or earlier this morning if you're from Europe or Asia. But this is just kind of absurd for worst HR player. Still going over 3/4 of the way into the map here, still on that 1x100 FC. The only question is, can he finish out with the full combo at this point? Because the map point is not going anywhere. It's a win for South Korea 100% of the time. But can worst HR player make this FC happen? These back and forth streams are evil, just absolutely nasty, and he is still hitting every single one of these. Despite still going. Oh my god.
That is so unfortunate. Oh yeah, for him kind of just die at the end with those nerves. That is a shake that you don't really see him that often from worst Hardrock player, dropping 5 100, 650s, 8 misses in the last 200 combo. And I mean, the Fawns in Korean Maluku having higher combo than both Aligrissimo and Amamiya Kokoro, but that is a 2 miss and a 3 miss from those two players, and
yeah.
I mean, low miss count on this map is incredible. Like, it's so easy to just chain miss everything.
I mean, it's just team dominance, right? Like, the lowest score for South Korea is only beaten out by the very best score from Brazil, right? Like, there's not any sort of chance Brazil is taking that map. And again, this just goes back to what we were talking about at the start of the match, where these teams are picking into their specialties. There's not a huge amount of overlap between the teams on their specialties as well. So you keep seeing these very one-sided picks for South Korea. Brazil's first pick was relatively close, but their score on Jester was very, very good as a team. And so we just kind of see these teams trading picks back and forth to start things out, and I think this is a pretty clear-cut match in where the teams want to pick and what they want to lean into. With that said, probably if I had to guess, the DT1 for Brazil, but this may be the point at which they start to lean into that Hard Rock pool a little bit. I don't think they're going to lean into the Hard Rock 2 or 3 to start things out, because again, those are Tech and Flow Aim maps, and we've already seen South Korea win Tech and Flow Aim in the no mod pool and the free mod pool. So you might not want to pick into that Hard Rock 2, Hard Rock 3 at this point in time if you're Brazil, but certainly the Hard Rock 1, DT1 are still solid picks, and there it is.
Yeah, DT1 definitely a really good pick for Brazil. We saw last round the Fons FCing the last round's DT1. And FCing that map already is pretty hard, and this one is even harder. And I mean, this is absolutely a Brazil kind of map. It is 10.5, so a little bit harder for Nissan, as you said, with the higher AR not being his biggest specialty. But I do still kind of see that he could go in for this. If not, they still have the Fons, they still have Korean Maluko, both really, really good DT aim players. The Fons not speed capped anymore on these kind of DNB DT maps. He improved a lot on tapping, so this is kind of in his comfort zone now.
I'll see if it ends up being Zubs or Defons as the third player for Brazil. We do see Jung Woo-young coming in for the first time for South Korea. First time we've seen Jung Woo-young in for them this match so far. Doomsday Fanboy, worst HR player, as the remaining two for South Korea. I think makes a lot of sense. Doomsday Fanboy, very good DT player, very good stream player. Less well known for DT aim though, so we'll see how well he's able to do on something like this, where that main point of difficulty is the high BPM aim rather than some of the tapping. Doomsday Fanboy, very well known for high BPM streams and stamina, as well as the stream flow aim, but not quite as much on DT aim. Still waiting on that last player for Brazil, though. I think debating who it's going to be, and it's going to be Nyash, actually, to come in for Brazil. So no Zubs, no Defons. Nissan, Nyash, and Korean Maluko for this pick. Okay.
I think the skill cap kind of helping Nyash here a little bit. He's kind of really good in those skill cap kind of maps, so we kind of see him more and more now in this match compared to the other two previous matches. And I mean, Nyash did top score DT4 just a few minutes ago. So he is probably there to get a good score in this one as well. Let's see how this is going to go out.
Very early miss to start things off for Korean Maluko and Nyash actually on the side of Brazil. This is AR 10.5. Higher approach rate than what we've already seen on Jester as well. So really tricky because of that higher approach rate. You see some uncertainty in the aim for lots of players, lots of kind of loops at the end of the aim for certain players, Nissan included in that. So hopefully able to hold strong for Brazil, that last remaining FC on their side. Everybody's still holding for South Korea. There goes Jung Woo-young, first miss for the South Korean team. And as we talked about, kind of that uncertainty in the aim for Jung Woo-young, bringing forth one of those misses for South Korea. Doomsday Fanboy, worst HR player, Still on full combos, but good recovery from Yash and Korea Maluko should bring this back to Brazil as long as they all continue to hold. Second half of the map to start up now.
Yeah, if this map goes on like this, Brazil is gonna take it back. But, I mean, that hack from Doomsday Fanboy and Niash kind of breaking on just air, as it seems like. Slight breaking there. But Doomsday Fanboy going down with that FC. It's now 1 FC against 1, Forum against Nissan. Combo advantage for Brazil.
Going to be close, but Korea Maluko holding for Brazil is the main factor here. Stream section now starting up at the end of this map. Another break on the slider jumps for Niash. Is it going to be enough with this extra combo from Korea Maluko for Brazil to bring this over? Nissan Korea is still holding, and there goes worst HR player, and there goes the score lead, there goes Zhang Weiyong, and at the very end of the map, it is 70k for Brazil. That swap instantly going their way. It's the FC for Nissan and the 960k from Korea Maluko doing the work to bring it over to their side. Another successful pick for Brazil by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, Brazil taking all 3 remaining DT maps. Really, really important for them. And now we kind of lean into the section of the match where maps could potentially go a little bit more on either side. I think Korea still has a lot more dominant picks than Brazil, but it's not looking so doomed anymore. They got their 3 really important picks, really important points for Brazil, and now they just have to pick up a few more.
Yeah, this is looking much better for Brazil than I think a lot of people would have thought, myself included. I expected the South Korean team to take a break point on one of these DTs, and it looked really close on DT1, DT2. But Brazil managing to pull those picks together and get those DT maps on the board for themselves. As you said, though, now you're limited to just a free mod 2 with the high BPM picks, and that map, it's AR9, 234 BPM. It's awkward aim. It's lots of flow aim jumps. It is not the same whatsoever as these mechanics picks that we've been seeing in the DT pool. So Brazil really going to have to pick well for their next pick to continue this trend of trading picks back and forth with South Korea, as a lot of the rest of the pool is focused on those gimmick maps. You have Hidden 2 is just straight up ult. Hidden 1 is awkward aim with lots of back and forth linears, and that is going to be the pick for South Korea. And just to go through the rest of the pool again, Hard Rock 2 is tech, Hard Rock 3 is flow aim similar to Shadow Castle, and Free Mod 3 is that anti-mod free mod with AR8 CS5 as the metadata there. So you're going to have to pick probably something from the remaining mechanics maps of the No Mod 1, Hard Rock 1, Free Mod 2. And this Hidden 1, I think, going to set the tone for what that pick looks to be from Brazil. This map, though, 200 BPM, awkward aim, AR 9.5, so not super dense on 200 BPM, but the Hidden still making this map significantly more difficult. You have lots of wide angle jumps, lots of anti-aim that is focused on, high cursor velocity into very low cursor velocity, high spacing to low spacing jumps, and vice versa. And of course, the sort of linear back and forth jumps that abound in the KI times, kind of the trademark pattern for this map, as those are really, really tricky as well, and one of the main points of difficulty in the map.
Yeah, those anti-aim jumps and just really snappy jumps are really hard, even on this AR 9.5 on Hidden. This map also definitely, I mean, it's 7.4 stars in a kind of 7.4 star No Mod 1 pool. So you can kind of expect this map to be pretty difficult, and we see Fragrance of Page for the first time in this match. I think. Did he play No Mod 4? I wasn't there.
No, Fragrance of Page, first time coming in for this one as well. It was worst HR player Amamiya Kokoro Allegrissimo in for South Korea on the No Mod 4. So first time we're seeing Fragrance of Page. 2 back-to-back maps with new players for South Korea coming in Zhang Weiyong and Fragrance of Page. Of course, Zhang Weiyong, I believe, has played the OS World Cup for South Korea before, I think in 2022, if memory serves.
Yeah.
Someone can fact-check me on that. I'm going off memory here. But Fragrance of Page has, I think, the only member on the side of South Korea to have not played a World Cup for them before. So this is the only member of the team without that World Cup experience coming in for the Hidden One. Kind of a crucial turning point in the match, honestly, as now the DT pool is gone and you're looking to South Korea to continue winning their own picks and maybe take a break point to end this match before tiebreaker. So, important point for both teams here. Korean Maluko, Nissan, and Zubs coming in to try and take the break point for the side of Brazil.
Yeah, as you said, with Fragrance of Page, there's a bit of, I guess, history towards him. He is sort of one of those players, plays a little bit of offline, so he is maybe a little bit better than his rank says at 750 even. And he was also turn a unbanned, I think, 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, very recently.
These are like his first tournaments ever, and he got 2nd place in the Mammoth Mayhem, a Asia Pacific tournament today. He is seed 1 in a 1v1 open rank tournament. This guy has so much potential, and as we can see, I mean, he is seeing Subs and Korean Maluku both finding breaks. So only Nissan now for the Brazil side against 3 FCs on the South Korea side. Nissan going down, Fragrance of Page going down. It's 2 FCs only for Amamir Kokoro and Forum.
Yeah, nothing left on the side of Brazil. It's just the 2 star players for South Korea here, holding strong. These are the 2 who have been in for almost every map. Worst star player, of course, in for literally every map so far, but with even more breaks coming out of Brazil. I mean, again, this just goes back to what we were talking about at the start of the match. South Korea so good at what they are good at, and Brazil, you know, they've put up a good match so far, but this is the kind of specialty pick again for South Korea that just makes you recognize exactly how good of a team this is, because not only can they compete very well and make Brazil's picks close, but they can absolutely stomp their own picks like this. Already over a 400,000 score lead for South Korea, and only going to keep going up as Worst HR player continues that FC. There goes actually both of their FCs are now gone. But it doesn't matter. Fragrance of Page matching the combo from Nissan and Korean Maluko and Zubs with pretty recent misses as well. So this near 500k score lead not going anywhere.
Yep. And Amamir Kokoro being a little bit confused as somehow with his miss there. And now the last quarter of the map going in, and I mean, as long as like there's nothing that can really go wrong now. Like, I don't know, South Korea can like disconnect one of their players or something, but I mean, even then, they are probably still in the lead then. This team score, really good. Fragrance of Page here holding on to this ending with that 650 combo, getting to his other peers on this map in terms of score. And Subs, Korean Maluku, Nissan just not holding any sort of high combo in this section here now.
I mean, this is just complete team domination, right? The worst score for South Korea, over 100k up on the best score for Brazil. What else do you say? It's the South Korea show on that map. Really solid overall team score, 1.9 million team score for South Korea on that one. 4-3, and there wasn't really ever any doubt throughout the entire map. 1 miss for all 3 of their members.
The hell? That is
better combined miscount for all 3 players on South Korea than the single best miscount for Brazil.
Yeah, that is really, really, really solid. If we kind of compare this to the scores in the other winners bracket match, yeah, South Korea's all 3 players were beaten down pretty much everyone aside from Hyok and Nathan Ram. And 1 miss is also like the lowest miscount on the other matches, 2 misses and 3 misses, and then we go into 7 misses, 9 misses, 10 misses. I mean, 1 miss on this map with Hidden is incredible, and all 3 of your really good players are doing that, so that's really good.
Yeah, super solid run for South Korea. Now, This is the turning point for Brazil. Can they continue to put points on the board? Can they continue to find successful picks now that the DC pool is emptied out? They've got the Hard Rock pool at their disposal. They've got the Nomad 1 and the Free Mod 2 for mechanics maps. But after that hidden one, I doubt you want to challenge South Korea on another awkward aim pick in that Free Mod 2. So I'm looking at Nomad 1, Hard Rock 1 as potential picks for Brazil right now. Again, you probably don't want to play South Korea on tech or precision flow aim. Like, I doubt that you really want to do that. So Hard Rock 1, Nomad 1 look very attractive at the moment.
I think Hard Rock 1 and also Nomad 1 maybe being the two best picks, but we go into Free Mod 2, Bomb, LMT's Extra, Air 9, high density 230 BPM aim with a little bit of tapping, but not much. I don't think any of these players are going to be tapping gapped on this one. And this one really, really hard on hidden. Yeah. Also decently hard on Hard Rock. I think it's more favored towards Hard Rock than hidden, but it also just comes down to who has the highest skill cap, most comfortable player on the hidden on this map.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at this pick because we're almost certainly seeing Nissan come in to take the hidden for Brazil. Again, high BPM, high density maps with double time or hidden are the specialty of the former best tournament player in Brazil here for Nissan. And you're not going to be super surprised to see this guy come in and drop a pretty good score on hidden. That said, as we just saw, awkward aim, very, very good for South Korea. So to see this map get picked up immediately afterward for Brazil is a little surprising. But you're going to be looking to the Hard Rock players to make that difference. It's Korea Maluko, Zubs, and Nissan in for Brazil right now. Maybe we see a Nomad out of Nissan after all, and a hidden for Zubs, Hard Rock for Korea Maluko. Because this roster interesting. Nissan did top score the hidden one for Brazil, so maybe we see him stay on that hidden. But again, you're looking at Amamiya Kokoro, worst stage R player, Allegrissimo on the side of South Korea. Probably the hidden for Amamiya Kokoro and the Hard Rock for worst stage R player, if I had to guess. No, it's going to be Hard Rock for Allegrissimo, Nomad for worst HR player. Of course, the Hard Rock for Korea Maluko, and actually the hidden for Zubs this time around. Interesting pick. Flow aim jumps, wide angle, awkward jumps in this map. AR9, 234 BPM, so high note density and really, really tricky aim patterns kind of abound in this map. Lots of pattern aim throughout this map, and already a miss from Zubs to start things off. Not going to matter too much. We are in the first 100 combo of the map when that miss happens. So not a big score lead going to result from that miss alone, but it is ever so slight advantage towards South Korea on this pick so far.
Yeah, and we see Nissan Nomad Subs hidden. Definitely, I mean, just kind of hope that, Nissan going for that really high score, Subs breaking again. And, this map is really hard. We are in a semi-finals World Cup pool match. So early play breaks hopefully are not going to be as punished, but against a team this dominant on pretty much anything, and Subs just not finding any combos so far. Meanwhile, we do see Korea still with that freeway FC, but as soon as one of those players go down, but Subs is doing well right now.
Yeah, really struggling there for Zubs to keep any sort of consistent combo on this map so far. I think his max combo is like 250 or something. Really having a rough time with this pick so far. And this was the worry for me on this map for Brazil, is that your hidden player is just not going to be up to snuff compared to the hidden players for South Korea. Amamiya Kokoro still on that 99% full combo. Everyone on South Korea still on that 99% full combo. Hidden Hard Rock and Nomad. And you still have Nissan and Korea Maluko holding strong on the Nomad and Hard Rock for Brazil. But that's not going to be enough in the face of a three-way FC. You're going to need breaks to happen for this South Korean team. We're over halfway through now. Any misses from either side can be very impactful. Combo for Zubs has started to recover a little bit, but there goes Nissan. That's not the side you want to see break if you're rooting for a close match or if you're rooting for Brazil. And now it's just Korean Maluko versus the world as we see the three-way full combo still standing tall 2/3 of the way through with map for South Korea. Allegrisimo will drop on the hard rock, but it's just not nearly enough. You need a three-way break from South Korea.
Yeah, and you need it right now if you're Brazil right now. But I don't think, I mean, we are talking about Alamir Kokoro, we are talking about Forum now. Map getting a little bit harder now with the density, with the aim, with the tapping, but both players holding on to that FC so far. Alamir Kokoro shaking a lot, dropping a lot of 100s, but he's still going strong. Korean Maluko going down, Alamir Kokoro going down, it's only Forum now.
Yeah, that's two separate misses for Korean Maluko in that short span, and even with the miss for Amamiya Kokoro, Zubs is gone, Korean is gone. It's just worst HR player holding on to the FC on the entire lobby, and you know, was there really ever any doubt? South Korea, the #1 seeded team, out of qualifiers, and once that DT pool is closed off, South Korea instantly taking that first break point off the back of a really solid overall team performance. Again, only the worst score for South Korea, lower than the single best score on the side of Brazil from Korean Maluko, and the full combo coming out intact for worst HR player on that map. Very, very good score for South Korea overall. That is, once again, some domination, over 700,000 team score up on Brazil. And that was Brazil's pick. Unfortunately, that Fremont 2 not working out in their favor whatsoever.
Yeah, and this is the first breakpoint that this match has seen. It's now 5-3, and as we said before this map, Korea has a little bit more dominant pick still left compared to Brazil. Fremont 2 seemed to be their best shot at getting another point, and it did not work out. So Korea can definitely win their next pick as well. We still see that Hidden 2, we still see that Fremont 3. The entire harder pool is still open, but I don't think either side really wants to do any experiments on this pool, because both Brazil and South Korea being really good on those hard rock maps. So I think Korea probably gonna go into that Fremont 3, Hidden 2, maybe normal 1 at most.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Hidden 2 personally for South Korea as a next pick. Again, you see Brazil banning out Hidden, banning out low AR in the Nomad pool. You win your Hidden 1 by a pretty significant margin. The Hidden player for Brazil on that free mod not able to keep up whatsoever with your own Hidden player on that free mod. And all of it just points to being much better on that Hidden pool as a team than Brazil. You've already won free mod 1, you've already won Nomad 3. You have the aim control wins already under the belt for South Korea. So I feel like this Hidden 2 is kind of a no-brainer pick. If they aren't going to go for that, I think you go for the free mod 3, but it's going to be Hard Rock 2 instead. Okay. So South Korea, the first team to breach the Hard Rock pool. It's going to be Cybernetics as the next pick for them. This is a tech map. This is just straight up tech in the Hard Rock pool. Lots of wiggles on the aim control streams in this map. Lots of 1/3 and 1/6 in this map that are 255 BPM bursts. So you have to have some tapping element in this map. And lots of really high velocity back and forth sliders that make this map extremely tricky on the slider aim control as well.
Yeah, you have to be really, really confident, really, really good on those on tech. This map can either go, oh, I just dropped an FC, this is really good, to, oh, I just dropped 350k and I slider broke everywhere and missed on the wiggles. That sucks. This map is kind of coin flippy if you're not the tech goat himself. You can just break all those bus sliders in the middle, that are really, really hard, especially on hard rock. The ending really, really aim control-ish, kind of reading intensive as well. At least on Nomad and Hidden it is, maybe not so much on hard rock. But this one is definitely gonna be, hopefully, good for South Korea, if you're South Korea. And for Brazil, you just kind of have to hope. I mean, hard rock is one of their bigger strengths, but we go against Seed 1 here. We go against one of the best hard rock players in the entire game. especially on tech, especially on lane control with Versatile player. You still have Allegrissimo, Fragrance of Page, both really confident on these kind of maps as well. This is gonna be hard for Brazil.
Yeah, it's going to be a real difficult match for Brazil and a real difficult map for Brazil. That said, they do have really good Hard Rock players on this roster. It's going to be Kareem, Maluko, Zubs, and Defons in for Brazil. This is the three-man squad that has gone up against South Korea on all of these gimmick picks so far, and they're going to continue to try taking breakpoints. That said, this gimmick pick, a little bit more accessible for Brazil. These are good Hard Rock players, especially Kareem, Maluko, and Defons are really solid on the Hard Rock, so I'm expecting a more competitive map on this one from Brazil. When we were talking about the pick strategy for both of these teams at the beginning of the match and all throughout so far, we were looking to Brazil to breach the Hard Rock pool first. The fact that it's South Korea, I think, is really interesting in this match, as Brazil, you know, not necessarily a tech team, but very good on the Hard Rock, and already a miss to come out for Allegrissimo on the side of South Korea. This map, blink and you miss it as well. It's less than 2 minutes long, so you have to be on point all throughout the map. Even early misses are going to be relatively impactful, and we see a couple early misses for Defons and Zubs alongside Allegrissimo, but Fragrance of Page and Worst HR player alongside Kareem, Maluko still holding those full combos. Going to bring a little bit of that score lead back towards South Korea, but still extremely close in the combo department. And can enough of Brazil hold on to these big combos to make this map even? It is slight lead to South Korea. The accuracy still giving a little bit of that score over to Brazil. 97 on both Kareem, Maluko, and Zubs as we hit the halfway point.
Yeah, South Korea. I mean, Fragrance of Page, I honestly didn't notice that, but that back is kind of low. I thought he broke or something, but it's not getting any higher now. And the aim control now being the main focus of this map. Kareem, Maluko, and that is incredibly unlucky. Yeah, the one's going down. This is kind of over now.
Yeah, that's the map. Map's already over. It's Fragrance of Page and Worst HR player on the full combos here with the Hard Rock Tech map. And the only question is how long they can hold, if they can finish out the full combo or not, because now the score lead 700k and climbing for South Korea. We're looking at close to double score here. So like, this is some absolute nasty domination from South Korea on this pick once again. Worst HR player is actually going to break right near the end of the map. Won't be quite double score, but it's damn close. And Fragrance of Page going to pull off the full combo here for South Korea. Very good score for him despite the accuracy. And that is an over 1 million team score gap on that Hard Rock.
Yeah.
Just a complete domination. Once again, the worst score for South Korea, better than the best score from Brazil. This is the #1 seed in the 3-digit World Cup. This is why they have only dropped 1 point to each team so far before facing Brazil. This is why they were slated to win the whole tournament from the very start.
Yeah, this team score is incredible. I've seen this map be played and also played it itself in a open rank tournament in Nomad, and NFC on this map in the match was already like really good. And we just see Fragrance of Page going on that Hard Rock FC and Forum dropping 900k, 90 combo away from NFC as well. Like, that is amazing. That is really good, and this is just total domination on that map. And Brazil now, hopefully not their last pick. And they have to really think about this one. I personally think Nomad 1, Hard Rock 1. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, you're not picking the Hidden 2. You're not picking the Hard Rock 3 after what just happened there. You're not picking the Free Mod 3 and the Anti-Mod after getting blasted on the Free Mod 2. So what else is left? It's the Nomad 1, Hard Rock 1 for Brazil. I think you pick into whichever one your team feels better on. Clearly, Hard Rock is not a discomfort mod for the South Korean team, right? Like, maybe it's comfort for some of the members on Brazil, but if you're getting better scores on the Nomad 1, just pick into that. Just pick what you feel more comfortable with and hope that you can claw back a breakpoint on either the Hidden 2 or the Free Mod 3. Surely is the last pick for South Korea if we get there. But Brazil gonna have to pick this Nomad 1, Hard Rock 1 at some point here.
Yeah.
Surely they're not picking the other two maps, and it is gonna be Hard Rock 1 here.
I see. Hard Rock 1, yeah. That is definitely one of the two maps that they should have picked. And I honestly kind of thought that they maybe just go for like, hey, it's Nomad 1, we gamble and try to win. Hard Rock 1, less of a gamble, more of a confidence pick in their own. But they just played a hard rock map. They just lost by 1 million team score. But I mean, this map a lot different than the other hard rock map. Then we do have Korean Maluka, we do have the Fonts, we do have either Niash or maybe even Mistia or Nissan. Maybe we can see either of those two players, if not, then it's probably Niash.
Yeah, we'll see who's going to be the roster for both of these teams here. It is going to be Niash and Nissan actually coming in for Brazil. I'm surprised about that. I would have expected Defons as the third player for Brazil on this map. But looks like it is going to be Nissan here for Brazil as their third. Korean Maluka and Niash joining him. Amamiya Kokoro, Worst Hero player, and Fragrance of Bade in for South Korea. Noel Grismo is a little interesting, but Fragrance of Bade just in for the Hard Rock too, just pulled off the full combo in match. So, you know, if you're popping off on the Hard Rock, if you're feeling comfortable, if you're feeling good, keep him in and hope he can continue to pop off.
Like he played really well on the other hidden A map, and he also played well on the Hard Rock map. So him going in for this one also makes a lot of sense. But you do drop that Alegrissimo, and you should always put him back in, honestly. But yeah, no Defons, as you said. I feel like this is the Defons map. So I guess both Niash and Nissan have to be pretty confident on this one to go over Defons in this on this.
Alright, early break for Niash and Amamiya Kokoro, Korean Maluka and Fragrance of Page breaking as well. It's Nissan and Worst Stage Art player already the only two remaining full combos for either of these teams. More breaks to come through for Amamiya Kokoro during the first TI time. This is a very famous song, very well-known song from the older set. This is the newer set by Meridius. Not new anymore, it has been out for quite some time. And there goes Worst Stage Art player actually breaking on the streams. It's Nissan, the only remaining full combo on both sides. And this is looking good for Brazil. Another miss for Niash will match the trade from Worst HR player, but it's better combo on Nissan in particular, a little bit extra combo on Korean Maluka. As long as Nissan can hold for a little while, the score lead should start to go over to Brazil, but this is balancing on a knife's edge right now.
Yeah, Nissan also nearly missed on that one triple in the just 100 combo away. He nearly over-aimed that. So... oh no, on that stream he chain misses, and now the score probably going really quickly to Korea's favor maybe, but Fragrance of Page does miss. And combo is sort of even. Korean Maluka having higher combo than both Forum and Amamiya Kokoro, but Niash having lower combo than both of them. And Fragrance of Page finding another miss, and now it's a Brazil favored.
Alright, can they continue to hold this for Brazil? Amamiya Kokoro and Worst HR player with the combo on their side. Those are two very good players, very consistent players that you have holding combo for South Korea right now. But it's Korean Maluka on the opposite side with the best combo in the lobby, and Niash not too far behind. Nissan as well, a little bit of combo lead over Fragrance of Page. So maybe this can stay on the side of Brazil, but again, still close going into what is now the last quarter of the map here. A little bit of a slower section before the very last KI time in the map. And this is going to be the big jump section. Can everyone hold? Streams coming up now as well. Nobody missing on those big jumps going into the last KI time now. This is the hardest part of the map. Can Brazil continue to hold? There goes Niash. The score lead now going to start going back the way of South Korea. Brazil fighting for their winner's bracket life right now. If they can extend this match, they have a chance at making that winner's finals and securing top 3. But it's all on Nissan and Korean Maluka. And Worst HR player will find the drop. Amamiya Kokoro will find the drop. It's just Fragrance of Page holding for South Korea. Korean Maluka on the opposite side, the only one to hold for Brazil, as Nissan drops as well. But it might just be enough. It's 70k. Korean Maluka will drop. It's Fragrance of Page with a little bit of combo here at the end. But he drops as well. And that 6-way break is going to secure it for Brazil.
And we are seeing Brazil taking another point, and we are getting into the last 2 picks for both teams now. 6-4. Korea having their last pick, and also Brazil potentially having their last pick if they take a breakpoint on the South Korea map that they pick next, and Korea Maluko S rank on that map. Really impressive.
Yeah, very good score for Korean on that map as well. 5 myths from both Nyash and Nissan, both very good scores. And really, I think the big story here is you have consistency from the low scores on Brazil and consistency from the high scores for South Korea, but that 780k for Korea Maluko absolutely carrying Brazil on that pick, popping off when it matters and getting that best score in the lobby when it really counted to keep Brazil in the winner's bracket for one more map. We'll see if he can do that once again. You've got Hidden 2, Hard Rock 3, and Fremod 3 all open for South Korea as potential picks here. So a lot of options as to what they want to go with. I don't think Brazil is picking into any of them. I think Brazil's last pick pretty much slated out to be the Nomad 1 after that. You're going to want to pick into that aim consistency as, you know, yeah, you lose out on the Hidden 1 and the Fremod 2, but you're winning the Hard Rock 1 and the DT 1. So pick into that basic aim mechanics once again as your last pick as, well, you haven't won any of the gimmick maps so far, so don't want to pick into those. And South Korea going to go with that Hidden 2, Kuya no Hanashi, the last pick for the South Korean roster. This match, I think, far closer than most people would give it credit for. Only one breakpoint in the entire match so far, as Brazil putting up a really good fight, but South Korea looking to end the bout here with the knockout.
Yeah. This map is possibly the most winnable hidden map for Brazil, because this map is AR 9.8. So the high density reading kind of thing that they banned out against South Korea, that South Korea is so dominant on, it is sort of gone. This is a little bit easier for the players that are maybe struggling a little bit on that density, but it's also OD8, so you can just chain this randomly, and that kind of sucks then. But you still have Amamiya Kokoro and Forum on a hidden aim control map, sort of aim control.
I mean, it's alt. It is aim control.
Yeah.
It's a lot more focused on flow aim than a lot of other modern alt maps, right? Most modern alt maps, like that Fremod 1 we saw earlier, you're looking at big swaps between flow aim and snap aim. This one, far more about the flow and the wiggles in particular in this map, and that spacing, because of that, gets so high. You know, if you're not going towards that snap aim, to get to this kind of star rating, you need some pretty damn high spacing on the flow aim. And that is going to be the main point of difficulty on this map for anyone in for it. Korea Maluko, Nissan, and Zubs in for Brazil to try to take a break point, to try to secure their own last pick. Amamiya Kokoro, worst HR player, and Fragrance of Page here to go for the throat to end the match before it can get to that tiebreaker scenario and to secure themselves that spot in the finals.
Yeah. And no, we do see that. It's always impressive to see Nissan go on into an alternate map, because we do see him single tapping the entire map, and that is rare.
That's
it was a little bit more
38 BPM. I mean, you know, 276. That's light work. Light work.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't even. Oh, I shouldn't have said anything. But Subs and Nissan going down. It's only Korea Maluko now, and there's still a freeway. But Fragrance of Page going down. Amamiya Kokoro going down. Is Korea Maluko against Forum.
Korea Maluko, I think the player you want to hold that full combo if you are Brazil, but he misses as well. Worst HR player, not going to find the full combo either. It's a full team reset for both squads. Less than 100,000 score lead right now in favor of South Korea, but less than 100k is very winnable for either team right now.
Yeah, this is like
Brazil pop off a little bit to bring it back though.
Yeah, you kind of just have to get at least one player, if not two, just hold on to the next KI. Because I think the next KI also has that really hard, like, circular flow aim pattern that is so easily missable and hidden. So we just kind of have to pray that one of those Brazil players can do that. And now we go into the second TI here. Everyone holding on to their combo still. It's so even with the combo.
Everybody holding through that section. It's Korean Maluko, the only one to miss the end of that part for Brazil. They're going to see that at the break. It's combo for South Korea. Can they continue to hold and secure the win, or can Brazil find some misses from South Korea? Can they hold their own combos on Nissan and Zubs? It's not going to be Zubs to hold, and it's not going to be Nissan either, and that might just do it. Already 150,000 score lead for South Korea. Amamiya Kokoro and worst HR player with the combo intact going into the last quarter of the map, and unless we see some chain misses from South Korea, it's not going to go the way of Brazil. South Korea looking really good here near the end of the map.
Yeah, we just see those Forum and Amamiya Kokoro battling it out now. If they can hit those patterns, and they both hit that, I mean, that is just crazy. Meanwhile, Korean Maluko kind of just dying for a second there. I mean, everyone kind of just died except for Forum and Amamiya Kokoro right now. And Amamiya Kokoro taking this map. Really, oh god, the shake. Oh my god, it's an earthquake.
It's an earthquake, but it doesn't even matter. Play through the Magate and get through the map with that combo still intact. 670k top scoring the lobby for Amamiya Kokoro. 640k almost for worst HR player. And Fragrance of Page, 430k, still better than both Korean Maluko and Zubs on that map from the side of Brazil. Nissan, the only player with a better score than Fragrance of Page on Brazil's side. And that's the story of this match, right? These gimmick maps have been so favored towards Korea all throughout the match, and it's not going to stop on that hidden suit. They're going to take the win. They're going to knock Brazil down to the loser's bracket, and they're going to secure top 3 for themselves in the 3-digit World Cup, moving on to face the United States in finals.
Yeah, United States against South Korea. That is a classic now in World Cups, and we do see Brazil going down into the loser's bracket, going up against either Hong Kong, Finland, Sweden, or Indonesia. And we can potentially see that seed 3 against seed 4 with Hong Kong versus Brazil, potentially. And I think we do move on to the next match in just a second.
Yep, we're going to be streaming Sweden versus Indonesia here. That match starting in about 8 or 9 minutes. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be back very shortly with the next match of the tournament. In the meantime, though, we do have a couple of housekeeping things to keep you all here for just a second longer. I want to shout out that we do have a donation pool going on with Open Collective. If you're interested in watching the 3-digit World Cup, if you enjoy the gameplay of all these awesome players in the tournament, if you're enjoying watching them play these higher star rating maps and compete against each other country v country, please consider donating to the 3-digit World Cup as the next highest rank range World Cup in standard outside the US World Cup. It's always very cool to see a lot of the highest skill cap tournament players in the world and play against each other on these maps. And if you're not interested in donating, but you still want to support the tournament, we do have a sponsor this iteration from Blue Bunny. You check out Blue Bunny as well by visiting bluebunny.store. They've been kind enough to sponsor 3-digit World Cup with the code 3WC10 for their store, and you can get 10% off high-quality tablet covers on their store online. So thanks a bunch to Blue Bunny, and thank you to everyone who has chosen to sponsor the prize pool as well. Much thanks to all of them. For now, that's going to do it for us here at 3-digit World Cup. We're going to get the next match on shortly, and we'll be streaming Sweden versus Indonesia here in about 7 minutes. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to resoa for coming in to cast with me so I don't have to solo cast at 9 a.m. And we'll see you all back here in about 5 minutes for the next matchup.
Yeah.